This is kind of a rare circumstance where architecture has created a community, and it first struck us that night at Ashley and Eric's house when all of those people came together in celebration of your work and this particular architectural style. You really have created a community, and it's all about the people as much as the architecture.
I think it's great. I don't know where all these things come from, but it sounds great to me. The same theory of design is used in both houses, although they're 55 years apart.
I had seen his steel house and heard about him and driven by him and just got fascinated with him. And this lot came up for sale with plans. And so we bought the lot with the plans and then also used him to consult on some condos that we built right down from the steel houses.
It's 55-year difference.
55 years.
55 years. And I think to have one of the earliest wood post and beam constructions next door and then having the final steel home right here speaks for itself.
Don
was very involved.
I bet he was.
Yeah, absolutely. Every day. Yeah.
Every day.
So I collaborated with him and Lance O'Donnell. And my objective is really to get it down to what it used to be, but also give it a more contemporary feel.
I just think it's terrific that the owners of these two houses, as well as many others, people take care of it so well and seem to be so proud of what they have.
I've always had a great affinity, love sort of mid-century modern my whole life. I've always admired it and I always dreamt about having a home like this. So this was sort of a dream come true when we found this out here. It has just clean lines and simple, and it just, after a week of when you come out here on a weekend, it's just very calming and relaxing, and it's just a wonderful effect.
The house is somewhat modest from the street. It's the only house in the neighborhood that isn't surrounded by gates. When they walk through those front doors, the philosophy around the redesign was, had Mr. Wexler had access to the broad variety of surface materials and the technology that we have now, what kinds of things might he have chosen? I think it was a respite from the hectic Hollywood life, which is the reason that many people actually discovered Palm Springs in the first place. So it was the perfect melding of indoor-outdoor lifestyle, much more casual, open-plan living, all those things that draw most people to the desert.
We decided we wanted to move to Palm Springs. It was the typical story of being the last house that we looked at, and we'd given up to that point, and we just walked in and we loved it. We used to come here to vacation, so we knew what we were getting into. And that was just after Palm Springs got rediscovered again, and it was right after Stuart Williams and Don and all those people were becoming, their work was becoming appreciated again. So I knew about it, we'd read about it, and so when I saw that it was a Wexler, I really was pleased with that. Don didn't do a lot of large houses, as you probably know, and so that's why it feels different, I think.
If this house was in Oskaloosa, I would have bought it. It took me 6 years to renovate this home. A lot of it was taking out items that didn't belong here, nearly 40 tons worth of debris. And working with Don, at least seeing him once a year during that process, he gave me pointers. He'd come out to the house or we'd have lunch together. That's the one criteria for finalizing the purchase, was that I would talk to Don about the house and get some history on it.
International style home in Laguna Beach, and there's really no community of architectural fans in Orange County, at least that I found for mid-century architecture.
But what's happening here is actually probably fueling what's happening in other parts of the United States as well as worldwide.
It became regionally, then nationally, and now it's internationally known, and that's a great sense of pride that we have access to those buildings without, in this small community.
It's not only helped create the community of Palm Springs of all the people that moved
here because of the modern architecture and because of the buildings that Don has built, but also it's a draw. It's what our city is about, and Don's played a big part in that.
There's a real love for his work, and it shows in the people who are buying it, who are working to try and make it, bring it back to the original designs, make it better than the original designs. The El Rancho Vista Estates, that's, I think, like the happening spot in Palm Springs right now. This was a subdivision done in the early 60s, about 75 homes that Don and Rick Harrison designed, which has just been rediscovered. Most of them are in the original state.
You know, it's sort of a pocket of houses, this neighborhood especially, of houses that are not as well known as some of the other named neighborhoods in Palm Springs. And so it's a little more unique, I think. It's a lot of them have been redone very nicely. Some are in the process of being done, and I can see that they're going to turn into great houses.
We bought it sight unseen based on the photograph because I couldn't believe you could buy a house designed by an architect at the price that these were 10 years ago. And we moved out here and painted the front of it. It was originally beige and blue, and so we painted it white, and everybody thought we were totally insane. Who are these crazy people from Chicago?
Crazy guys from Chicago, overpaid.
And then from there, the neighborhood blossomed, and a lot of people started coming here and renovating, and the neighborhood is pretty much coming back to how it once was.
I took my father on a tour through there about 2 weekends ago, and we stopped and we looked at almost every house on every street. And at first my dad was saying, I don't understand why people are really interested in these. And I said to my dad, I said, what's going on here is almost the same that went on 10 or 12 years ago with the steel homes. That they were initially a brilliant project, which over the years became neglected.
I had heard about the steel homes before, and it was perfect timing, and I grabbed it and haven't looked back. With the steel construction, the homes are virtually indestructible. You never have to replace the roof. The paint job lasts forever. Maintenance is very, very minimal. It's a home, it's a hobby, it's a trophy, it's a toy. I just love it, and thank you, Don.
This was the model. There were 38 homes in the tract originally, 7 sold. This was the model, and it has a few extra bells and whistles. I understand it was decorated by Arthur Elrod. It has poured terrazzo floors. This owner has restored it to its original luster. It's gorgeous inside, so please take a look. And we did order the snow on the mountain for you.
Palm Springs is literally the capital of mid-century modern period.
Our preservation movement is really important. It's gotten us recognition from the White House, from Washington, from the National Preservation Society.
We are in a very exciting environment here.
The big thing is, if you're going to build a house, make sure you're comfortable in it, you love it, regardless of what anybody else says.